Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out the HyperX Duocast USB, RGB, and condenser microphone. The HyperX Duocast is the smaller and more affordable sibling to the Quadcast S that I reviewed a little while ago on the channel. If you missed that review, I'll link it up in the cards and you can watch it after this video. While the HyperX Duocast microphone is cheaper than the Quadcast S, the audio quality is great and it has one big advantage that I'll mention in this video, so stay tuned. The Duocast supports this really cool customizable RGB panel and I'll show you how it looks in a low lit situation in just a bit. The audio is crisp and pleasant to the ear when angled on the desk. It does a really great job at isolating my voice in this room. This room is completely untreated and this is how it sounds sitting on the desk picking up my voice being recorded to GarageBand. You'll be listening to the HyperX Duocast throughout this video. I'll also compare it against the great but very dated Blue Yeti microphone, so stay tuned for that and I'll timestamp everything down in the description below. Before we get started, a huge thank you to HyperX for sending this out for the review. I really appreciate it. HyperX doesn't get to preview this video ahead of time, nor do they have any input into it. All thoughts about this microphone will be my own and I'll give you my thoughts about it at the end of this video. If you want to check this out, I'll link it down in the description so you can see how much it is in your part of the world. Let's get into it. Let's talk price. In Australia, the Duocast comes in at $159 while a Quadcast S is $219. Much like the HyperX Quadcast, the Duocast can be used for gaming, live streaming, podcasting, voiceover, instrument recording, and anything else that you point at it. The HyperX Duocast also works with a PlayStation 5, so if you're a console gamer looking to up your voice quality, this will definitely deliver the goods. Included in the box, we get a 2 meter or 10 feet USB-C to USB-A type cable and an additional clip for mounting the microphone on a separate stand. The microphone comes pre-assembled in the box thanks to the shock mount and stand combo. Setting this microphone up is a piece of cake and it took less than 1 minute after taking it out of the box. There's also a quick start guide and some additional documentation included. Let's talk about build quality. The base of this microphone stand is very sturdy. I don't anticipate this falling over even if you accidentally knock it. It's really well weighted and I would have no problems recommending it. It would take quite a hit to actually topple this over, so no problems there whatsoever. The Duocast is slightly heavier than I was anticipating, and unlike the Quadcast S, this microphone works fine on a Rode PSA-1 boom arm. If you have a microphone stand solution like a Newer, for example, that have a locking mechanism on each of the angles, you won't have any problems whatsoever mounting this to one of those. If you don't know what that is, I'll link it down below so you can check it out. They're more affordable than the Rodes and they can be locked into any position. One of the ways HyperX has made this microphone more affordable is by removing 2 of the 4 polar patterns you would find in the Quadcast S. That said, it's not to this microphone's detriment whatsoever. The Duocast still supports 2 polar patterns, and for most people doing solo gaming or live streaming, this might actually save you some money and you'll get very much the same type of audio quality results. The first of these 2 polar patterns is Cardioid. This polar pattern helps reject sound from the sides and back of the microphone. So if you're doing any type of spoken word stuff like this is the best mode to be in. Here's a Cardioid polar pattern test typing on an old school Hewlett-Packard mechanical keyboard. This thing's got to be 10 years old now. How much of the background noise or keyboard noise can you hear while I talk? And now I'll stop talking. What do you think of the off-axis rejection? After testing this, I found it did pick up quite a bit of the keyboard and it's set to Cardioid polar pattern, which means it's supposed to reject most of the background noise. Now, if you position this microphone in a better spot, like a little bit closer to you, maybe back the gain off on the microphone and have it set up in a different situation, you won't hear as much of the keyboard noise. But if it is positioned right next to the keyboard, it doesn't quite isolate the voice enough in my opinion, but it works pretty well. If you have it on a boom arm, for example, and it's closer to your mouth, you're going to get a much better result again. The second polar pattern is called Omnidirectional. This polar pattern allows the microphone to pick up sound evenly from all directions. This is great if you want to record a group conversation in a room. If you have a whole lot of people sitting around a table, you could plonk this microphone down in the center and it'll pick up everybody's voice evenly. That's a great feature, but I'm not sure how often gamers will use it. If you're on your own, stick to the Cardioid polar pattern. If you have 2 or more people in a room, that's where Omnidirectional will work, and I'm using it right now. So as I turn this around, you shouldn't hear my voice drop out whatsoever. Pretty cool. The Duocast has a very basic yet very effective feature set. We get a big dial on the back that helps you control the gain and polar patterns. You can push this in to change from Cardioid to Omnidirectional or turn it to change the gain of the microphone. When you turn the dial, you'll see the colors on the RGB correspond to the gain level. This can be seen anywhere from green to yellow all the way into the red. Red means the mic is running at its hottest and the green is at its lower input gain stage. The USB-C port and the headphone jack is on the back of the microphone. The headphone jack allows for real-time audio monitoring so you can hear what you're saying without any lag, which is awesome. There's also this cool little space left on the back of the mount which helps you manage cables, which I clearly haven't done in this video, but if you choose to, if you want to keep everything tidy, you can run it directly through the back and just keep everything a little bit more tidy. Maybe the coolest feature on the HyperX Duocast is the tap to mute sensor on the top of the microphone. This is a real sensor, and even if you hover your finger just above it really low, you'll see that it cuts off the volume. This doesn't pop or click either, and this is a welcomed addition over an old school hardware button, and I'll showcase that right now. Let us know if you could hear anything when the microphone muted. Additionally, the mute sensor also disables the RGB on the microphone, so you can see visually whether or not the microphone is on or off. This is a really simple feature, but having a visual guide to let you know that the microphone is on or off is a huge advantage over many other USB microphones. I've seen and been on so many live streams where someone is talking for 2 minutes not realizing they're on mute. I've done that before as well, so being able to see whether the mic is on or off, if the RGB is on or off, is a really cool addition. The HyperX Duocast does a great job at rejecting plosives thanks to its built-in pop filter. If I say something like, Peter prepares potatoes and pasta right up close to the mic, and handles this really well, much better than a lot of the podcasting microphones that I've got. Plosives are those P and B words that can completely ruin your audio through wind being blown into the capsule through the grill, and I think this handles it very well. But if you want the best in protection when it comes to plosives, get one of these K&M pop filters, and here's an example of that right up close now. Peter prepares potatoes and pasta. This microphone is designed in this particular orientation in mind, so if you plan on just using it like this, you won't have any issues with plosives. Up next, we're testing out the proximity effect on the HyperX Duocast. So I'm sitting back from the microphone, but as you can see, I've got it mounted on the PSA-1 boom arm using this K&M pop filter. Now, as I get close to the microphone, does the low end response sound any different? I have lowered my voice in terms of its volume. A lot of voiceover artists will use this proximity effect to give them that big, full, chesty broadcasting style sound. And some microphones enhance the low end and some don't. Let me know whether or not you hear a huge difference up close or whether it still sounds just as good a little bit further back. Thanks to this quality shock mount, the handling noise is pretty well controlled if you're careful when moving the microphone as you're recording or live streaming. If I tap the desk, this is how it sounds. If I move the microphone and place it back down, this is how much noise it makes. Given I've got this sort of like rubber mat on my desk here, but you'll get a sense of the handling noise here. Overall, this is pretty good for a condenser mic, and the shock mount is doing a really good job. The RGB ring can be fully customized on a Windows PC using the Ingenuity software. You can download color presets or customize the RGB ring however you like. The Ingenuity software only works on Windows right now. Understandably, the majority of people who are buying this will be gamers on a PC, but Mac software would be appreciated at some point in the future. I passed this feedback on to HyperX, so we'll see how it goes. But if you're a Windows gamer, or if you have a Windows PC at the house, you can definitely customize this ring using that free software, and I'll link that down below. Let's do a quick audio comparison between the HyperX Duocast and the legendary Blue Yeti USB microphone. This looks very 1960s talk show, but it still sounds pretty good. I don't think it sounds as nice as this, and that's what this comparison will hopefully show you. I'm not going to do any post-processing to this, and it will be in the Cardioid polar pattern mode only. And now I'm over to the Blue Yeti USB microphone in the Cardioid polar pattern mode. Let us know if you think this sounds better or worse than the HyperX Duocast, and take a note of how much of the room, reflections, and audio that you can hear while I'm using this microphone in comparison to the HyperX, and also notice the difference on the high end. And back to the HyperX Duocast. Can you hear a huge difference between the audio quality on this and the Blue Yeti? Let's switch it back. And back to the Blue Yeti microphone. As I look in my reference monitor here, I can just see how huge this is. It's actually slightly out of shot on this camera over here. It's a much bigger microphone, and the form factor and size of this won't be for everybody. Still a great microphone, but let us know whether or not you like the look of this and the overall size, or whether you prefer the HyperX, which is much, much smaller. And back to the Duocast. Now, I really like the sound of this. it seems to isolate my voice better in the room than the Blue Yeti, even on that Cardioid polar pattern mode. So this is doing a great job, and I much prefer the form factor. If you're addressing the camera, this stays far more out of the way. So I'm gonna give the nod to this. Let us know what you heard in the comments below. Thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. I'm gonna give you my thoughts about this microphone and how it compares up against the competition. I've tested out so many microphones over the years, and this is definitely one of my favorite, especially considering how affordable this is in comparison to a lot of other microphones on the market. Sound quality wise, I love the low end response. I love the fact it's very easy to set up and you get a really pleasant sound. Although I did find sometimes it was a little bit too bright on the high end. Now, if you're doing any type of post-production, that's easily fixed. And if you're gaming on a live stream, odds are there's gonna be some game audio mixed into the stream a little bit. So odds are that top end won't be a problem. You can easily adjust this even by adding a filter into Open Broadcaster software. The fact that this microphone can work with a PC, Mac, PS5, Linux, or whatever is enough to keep most people happy. I love the fact this works on the Rode PSA-1 boom arm, and the price to performance gives this the edge even over the Quadcast S for most gamers. So if you're on a budget, this microphone makes a whole lot of sense. While the Quadcast S is a little bit bigger and looks a little bit cooler, I think this has everything you need to get really great quality audio. My only small critiques with this microphone is that HyperX need to make the Ingenuity software available for Mac OS users, because this would open up a whole different part of the market. Not everyone wanting a great sounding USB microphone at this particular price will be running Windows. Although it does work and I'm recording it into my Mac, I can't customize the RGB panel without hooking it up to a Windows machine. It would have also been great to receive a USB-A to USB-C dongle included in the box, as most new laptops don't have USB-A type ports anymore. Again, for the price, it's not a deal breaker, and getting one of those isn't that hard off eBay or Amazon or wherever. Lastly, I would have loved to have seen a dedicated volume control for the headphones. This is something that I've just gotten used to on other microphones. Definitely not a deal breaker. I could still hear enough at however it was set straight out of the box. Overall, the HyperX Duocast is a great microphone with a powerful feature set. I can see a lot of gamers, streamers, podcasters using this who want to take the complication out of their setup while still getting solid audio quality. Let us know what you think of this. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down below. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.